to go into Anfield and park in the bus, which people are critical of. This doesn't give Mourinho much leeway now, does it, going forward, to put in those sort of tactical performances with players like Pogba?
On Sanchez, and you go and park the bus, I'm going to be asking questions. So, will this help or hinder Mourinho? You know, and when I say hinder, if he tells Alexis Sanchez to get himself back and start defending, what's going to happen with Alexis Sanchez's head? So this is a conundrum that only time will show us what Mourinho's going to do, but I don't see him changing, to be honest.
Forget the football perspective of what Sanchez will probably bring at the moment. I honestly think this sends out a big signal here from United to players that are not at United but might well be thinking about coming or they're interested in, and also to the ones there. Big players like Pogba, like David De Gea, who's continually linked with Real Madrid. The club, Mourinho, whoever, can pull him aside. If anybody has any thinking about trying to move on and say, listen, we're going big here. Look, we've signed Pogba, spent big on Lukaku, whether you like him or not. We've just spent big on Alexis Sanchez. We're going after the top players, and I think it sends a big signal out that they're probably going to go again in the summer. No matter if they finish second in the league, no matter where they go in the Champions League, they're going to, I think, spend again in the summer. And I think this sends a good signal that they're well prepared to go after the top players.
Sanchez is a Manchester United player. The club have just announced it. Craig Burley is here with me for reaction. He's excited to talk about this for the 3 millionth time. Craig, this is a massive feather in Jose Mourinho's cap, isn't it?
Not sure.
Why not?
Well, I don't know, but it's a feather in his cap. It's a feather in his cap if Sanchez goes on and Man United go on to win things. But I mean, ultimately,
but you expect him to. He's a quality player.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, people behind the scenes got this done. I mean, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but Jose Mourinho's not paying the wages here. So the people behind the scenes got it done. Mourinho wanted the player. They've got him. It's great business for Man United. City lost out on him for whatever reason. They've said they're going to move on. And he's going to give them so many options in terms of where he can play. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of everybody harping on about the money.
Yes.
I'm sick of
Me
it.
too.
United have crunched the numbers. They can make it happen. They're one, if not the most profitable clubs in the world. They've got so much commercial viability. They've got a player on the cheap or for nothing, and they spend the money on the wages and the sign-on fee. What is the difference to PSG paying 200 million plus and giving Neymar all the wages? Virgil van Dijk, 75 million plus wages. Philip Coutinho, 140 million plus wages. So why is everybody talking about the money? It is utter nonsense in this day and age. It is good business, whatever way you look at it, for Man United. And it's certainly good business for Mr. Sanchez and his bank account.
It is indeed. And probably his trophy cabinet, because Lord knows it wasn't getting there at Arsenal. With all due respect, and what some people aren't talking about as much is Henrik Mkhitaryan now going to Arsenal. Some are saying that he's almost too good a player for Arsenal right now. What do you think, Craig?
No, not on the evidence of his time in the Premier League. I mean, he was a great player in the Bundesliga, but he's yet to prove it in England. Not saying England's the best, I'm just stating fact. Now, you can look at it mitigating factors. Mourinho playing him out of position, not playing him in his favoured 10 role enough times, hauling him off in the Manchester derby, denting his confidence. There's all these factors, but ultimately United have got a great player in, they've got a guy out they didn't want, plus his wages, and Arsenal are going to fill a void. A void that Sanchez has left, a void that Walcott's left. The only issue there is, can he play? If you're looking at a guy who plays in the number 10 role and that's where he's best, then you've got Mesut Ozil to sort of shift about. But if they can get Aubameyang in as well as Mkhitaryan, might not be a bad transfer window for Arsenal. After all, they get a guy out that wanted to leave. They got a good player in with potential to be back to somewhere near his best. And United get their guy. So pretty much a win-win all round, I'd say.
All right, I agree with you on that one. It seems like both teams seem to be on the right track. We'll see if the players do live up to the expectations. He's massively frustrated at the lack of success and trophies that Arsenal have been getting this season.
What is this guy going to do?
It seems to be snowballing, doesn't it? Reports that he could be moving away from Arsenal and Manchester City, his destination.
Arsenal said no, then they discussed putting Raheem Sterling in the deal, then City said no.
How close were you to selling him on deadline day?
I believe that the transfer market is over, and for us it's important. There was a lot going on.
I'm Arsene Wenger. I'm turning my back on this season because everybody else is.
if I'm Alexis Sanchez, I just go now. Just go.
It's not always about the money. And if it's not about the money, then go now.
It's absolutely perfect. He's got to go now before it's too late, in case he gets injured.
Plot twist in the Alexis Sanchez saga. It seems that Manchester United will be ready to swoop in for your Arsenal man.
Both clubs need this type of player.
Supposedly Henrik Mkhitaryan may be part of the equation too.
You know, you lose Sanchez, you bring Mkhitaryan in. I like it.
Bidding war is always beneficial to the guy, to the club who can take advantage of it.
Manchester City won't pay any more than 20 million for the Chilean international.
And I can also understand why Man City would put two fingers up the arse.
And Chelsea, meanwhile, are looking to hijack the Manchester United deal for the Chilean.
A top player in a moment that you can buy him with a price not so high.
United hijacked the deal from City for Alexis, and now Chelsea trying to hijack the deal for United.
So I think it makes sense for United, regardless of what price.
So not, what's the opposite of confident? Unconfident, thank you.
We're at a windy Old Trafford waiting for Alexis Sanchez to complete his move to Manchester United from Arsenal.
I think it's going to happen. It's got that feel of inevitability about it now.
So it is likely to happen, but
Mariner and I have been doing our reading on ESPNFC.com, and Maris, you would have seen the article that says Jose Mourinho's success or failure as a manager depends on what's going on with him at Manchester United. Now, if we have a look at all of the stuff Jose Mourinho has won, I mean, he's won 24 major trophies as a manager, from Portugal to England to Italy to Spain, Maris. So do you think people will just forget about all of this?
No.
If he doesn't raise Man United back to the glory days?
Look, he's had some massive jobs in world football, Real Madrid and Manchester United. As far as the English press and to a certain degree the world press, as far as the Manchester United's appeal, it is global. There's no two ways about it. And every single thing that he does, every decision that he makes, you know, whatever it is in training or on game day, he's under the microscope. You know, you can talk about the type of football that he plays. At Inter, he was sort of parking the bus. He's done that now and again when United have played certain games. But he gets results, and that's what fans want. That's what board of directors and chairman they want. Now then, he will be judged on what he does in England. I mean, it's just a fact. I mean, when you're the gaffer,
but judged a bit more harshly, I feel, at Man United. What is it about Man United that everyone seems to be judging him so much?
Because of the global appeal. Manchester United, he's followed a couple of managers. Well, you had Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex Ferguson had the best teams, hands down.
Yeah.
The type of football that they played. Even if you were the staunchest of Man United haters, you loved the way that they played.
Yourself included.
Absolutely, myself included, because he put great teams together and played fantastic football. Now, fans would like to see that week in, week out, but we know that as teams evolve and progress, you know, you've not quite got that type of play, so you've got to play.
Is this the biggest club you think he's managed?
Well,
in terms of the appeal around the world?
I mean, it's hard to go against Real Madrid, but as an Englishman, you know, everything points to Manchester United. It just is, and that's purely and simple, I think, because of what Fergie did to the brand. I mean, they became a global brand when Sky took over, and Fergie turned them into this mega football club, you know, with Beckham, with Ronaldo, with these fantastic names of world football, Eric Cantona, you know, rejigging the team. There is a lot for him to live up to. Mm-hmm. And I think at the moment, he is in a bit of a transition. You can see he's dipping his toe in the transfer market in January, so he's not particularly happy with the squad. So yes, he's going to get judged. And because of this global appeal of Manchester United, he's had a fantastic career as a manager. Mm-hmm. But whether this is going to be the defining moment of Jose Mourinho's career, I don't think so. But it just comes with the territory.
All right, thanks so much to Paul Mariner then. So Jose Mourinho, I don't think we'll forget his legacy and what he's done if he fails at Man United, but it will be quite the badge of honour to have on his resume if he does bring them back to the top. Ever trusty Craig Burley joining me again to tackle this edition of Transfer Razor. Craig, let's start off with the one that's been doing the rounds for some time now. Eden Hazard holding out for a deal at Real Madrid.
Well, he's not alone, because there's lots holding out for a move to Real Madrid.
Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't? But I think the uncertainty at Chelsea in terms of the management and Emanalo leaving and some of the crazy transfer rumours that have been floating around, and the fact they're out of the title race, might be out of the Champions League when they play Barcelona. I just wonder if this is something he's going to try and push through in the next 6 months, if indeed Real Madrid are interested.
Over now to Manchester City, since Yaya Toure seems to be on his way out. Word is Fernandinho's going to need some competition. Could Fred be the man to come in?
Well, they've been to Shakhtar Donetsk before for Fernandinho. They did play Shakhtar in the Champions League, so they are familiar with that setup. He is younger, which they're looking to do, bulking up the midfield. He's 24, so I think this is a deal. And Pep has said in terms of the Sanchez transfer saga that he's going to go and look elsewhere. He's not a direct replacement, but I think he's looking to bulk up the squad, so I'm going to put that as a hit.
Now, you mentioned the wild transfer rumours that have been swirling about Chelsea, and some of them a bit laughable with all due respect, but looking now at Arnautovic, would he be a good fit at Chelsea?
Hazard, Willian, Pedro, Moses could play what? No. This just seems to be crazy. I don't know where these things are coming out of Chelsea. We've had Peter Crouch, we've had Andy Carroll, we've had everybody. So I don't see that happening, no.
Spurs seem to be in the market for a winger. Malcolm, would he be a good one?
Yeah, I'm kind of betwixt and between here, and the reason it looked as if it was, you know, things were picking up speed, but Gus Poyet's going in there, my old teammate at Chelsea, a guy that I know well, he's going into Bordeaux as the new manager, and he said no.
Yeah.
This guy's not going. So I'm going to put it as a miss at the moment, but that could be a story that changes, because as we know, managers don't exactly tell clubs when players are not going. As for the money, and I'm going to put this as a miss. Don't even go there.
Because, I know.
Because I tell you why.
Yield, David De Gea back to Real Madrid.
Yeah, but I tell you why. Because I think, you know, privately the player may be interested in this. Who wouldn't? But United are in the business at the moment of bulking up. They're showing they're going to spend big. They'll probably go again in the summer, in the summer transfer window. It might be Bale. It could be anybody. They have got the resources, and I think they've shown with the Pogba deal and the Sanchez deal that they are prepared to go big. And I think that might convince De Gea to stay where he is, and hopefully from his point of view some success going forward.
It is hard to say no to Real Madrid, but De Gea seems pretty happy where he is, so.
And if United keep showing they're going to go for real top quality players, it will make his decision all that much easier.
All right, thanks so much, Craig Burley. Continue tracking all of these rumours as they swirl around this January transfer window here at ESPNFC.com. So you know what that means. It's time for Player Power Rankings. Craig Burley is here as usual, because it wouldn't be Player Power Rankings without Craig to dissect it. Craig, Sergio Aguero tops the list this week. Any arguments there? He's ahead of Luis Suarez and Lionel Messi.
I've no arguments. I just don't have any arguments on this occasion. But I suppose it was a perfect hat-trick for Aguero, and a perfect response for City after the loss to Liverpool. And then you had Suarez and Messi. Messi was...
Messy.
Yeah. Rakitic played great. Yeah. That game was tight for a long time against Betis, but when you see the quality coming through with those two, it's no surprise that they can just turn the game like that. Not a surprising win for Lyon, who are second in the table, but, you know, I don't know, we're starting to see some flaws in PSG.
Yes.
I wonder, they're not going to lose the league domestically because they're so far ahead, but they've got a huge Champions League game coming up. So Fekir with a goal and an assist against them.
Speaking of that huge Champions League game against Real Madrid.
Yeah. Gareth Bale will be back to form, back to fitness. 2 goals for Gareth. His first goal was absolutely fantastic. He whipped it in. But interestingly, he got his 2 goals before Ronaldo got his 2 goals, and he was trying unbelievably hard. He was shooting from everywhere. So luckily, Gareth let Ronnie get a couple of goals.
I think that's what spurred Ronnie get his goals.
Oh, I think so. He might get a bit upset. Goalkeeper Alisson, the Roma Inter game, which looked as if it was going to go Roma's way. Inter equalised late on. Didn't really help any of them. They both needed 3 points, but a big performance from him in goal. Eden Hazard started off like a house on fire, but it was Brighton Hove Albion, who are a compact, organised side, but you would expect Chelsea to dominate, and that's what they did.
All right, some other big names. An Arsenal player making it, only just. Came off injured, though.
Yeah, I mean, this was a crazy game because within 20 minutes it was 4-0 and it was game over against Crystal Palace.
I thought Crystal Palace would have shown up a little bit more.
Couldn't win a game at the start of the season and couldn't score a goal, and Frank de Boer got sacked, and all of a sudden Roy Hodgson comes in, and the most organised side in the bottom half of the table, and they go to Arsenal. I don't know what happened. They were all over the place. Arsenal cut them open. It was a big performance from Arsenal, who've got Chelsea this week in the Carabao Cup second leg, so watch out for that one. Some big performers. I've not got any arguments, and I'll tell you why, because I don't compile this list.
Miracles do happen, ladies and gentlemen. No arguments
Monday.
from Craig Burley this week, but the week is early, so we will see what else he has to say. In fact, Marco Silva, Paul Mariner here with me to react to this one. Maris, what's interesting is the reasoning behind his sacking, saying that the Everton approach, that we know Everton were looking for him to become the next manager, led to a lack of focus, and if we're not for it, then they would have prospered. If we have a look at these stats now, you'll see exactly how Watford fared before and after that so-called Everton approach. Maris, are you buying this? Doesn't this smell of something else going on?
I think it smacks of unprofessionalism.
On whose part?
I think all parts. I think that Silva was upset. He let it be known that he told the board, I want to go to Everton, there's bigger more money for him, bigger transfer budget. He let it be known to the players, which is a big no-no for me. And I just think that the way that the board went about, in most people's opinion, this was a really up-and-coming manager. Everybody thought that this guy was going to go on to really good things.
Definitely.
So he asked the board for more money because they're doing okay with Watford, but he wants to just project him a little bit higher. They said no. And I think when you put all those factors together, when I'm talking about unprofessionalism, I think it's unprofessional of Silva to go to his players and say, I want out of here, I'm not happy with this. If that trickled down, and that's true, that it trickled down to his players, and the players let it affect them, because let's face facts, the players are employed by Watford Football Club, and so is the manager. You know, it's in your contract that you've got to conduct yourself in a certain manner. It looks as though that's not happened. Now, has it gone to a point with the board that there's no negotiations now, that this is it, you know, it's a broken relationship, then, okay, I agree, let him go, but have somebody coming through the door immediately. Don't start messing around with this, or we've got somebody, they've got to get somebody in, because this is a key moment in the...
I was just going to mention that, the timing of the sacking. Word is that they have Javi Garcia on the cards to replace Silva, but if we do have a look at the bottom half of the standings, that's where you will find Watford, and they are in 10th, just 4 points away really from the relegation zone, Maris. And if we look at all these teams that are involved or about to be involved in this massive scrap to survive in the Premier League, so was this the right time to do this thing?
Like I said, they've got to roll him out, they've got to roll somebody in immediately, because what's left in the season, 13, 14 games or something? This is massive. I mean, we talk about you're scrapping for your life. Every chairman in the Premier League wants to stay in the Prem. Why? Because of all the money, obviously. So they must have somebody in place very, very quickly, and somebody who's good, somebody who can motivate these guys, because if it's a wrong... You know, if the fans are not too excited about it, the players are not too excited about who's going to be coming in, then this could be disastrous for Watford, because, as you say, they're 4 points off Southampton in third bottom. That's a little scary.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen, if we want to call it that, because the way things were going for Watford, we didn't think we'd be talking about them in terms of relegation scraps, but that's exactly the case after letting Marco Silva go.
Penalty decisions from the weekend. Going to go straight to the Brighton against Chelsea game. Charlotte will be pretty upset because 2 penalty calls, neither given. I'll start off with the first one. The goalkeeper, Caballero, comes out and tackles him. For you, was it a penalty?
Yes, it looked a penalty to me. Caballero's tried to get the ball, and he's made an awkward challenge, shall we say. And there is a trip, and it's inside the penalty area, and a potential penalty kick for sure.
However, the referee, to be fair on him, didn't have a very good view. Bakayoko, I think, and William were blocking his view. But that is why you have the 4th official, and he didn't seem to get any help from him.
Well, you see, you've got a team of officials out there, and of course the referee was caught. And caught blindsided, basically. Got trapped between the 2 players. Didn't have a great view of this situation. His assistant had a pretty clear view at it. And I'm sure there'll be some communications between the 2, even though there wasn't sort of a direct link.
It didn't seem like it. Do you think the referee's got it wrong then?
The referee got it wrong, but he didn't see it, so it's the assistant referee that got it wrong. I think that one was a clear penalty. The goalkeeper, Caballero, had made a mistake. He came out. He didn't go with his hands. He went with his leg. And Charlotte made the most of it. He ran into the leg, but it was a penalty.
So if we'd had VAR for this game, we'd certainly have been seeing a bit of it,
yes,
and
and
it would
I
have been a
think
penalty.
there would have been a change of mind, and it would have been a penalty.
And then Charlotte must be really upset because there's another incident. This is with Bakayoko. This one didn't look as clear-cut to me, probably a bit of a coming together, but he was furious and obviously got booked for dissent in the end.
Yes, you see, yes, he was furious because, you know, two wrongs don't make a right of sort. I didn't think that was a penalty kick, by the way, the second one. I thought it was a coming together.
I agree with you.
I think it was coming together. The players, he's gone over, looking for it, you know,
But
giving the
as a
referee...
ref, is there a tiny doubt in your mind? Yeah, because you didn't give the first one.
If they didn't give the first one, they'll give the second one. And you could see, hear the Brighton crowd, they were baying for the referee to start to give them to decisions. And I was very impressed with the referee that he didn't cave in on that, and he just held strong, and he didn't give the penalty.
I mean, in that sort of situation, have you ever been tempted to give a penalty?
Of course he has. He's easily
swayed. Let me ask the question first. Let me ask the question first. When you've got 50,000 people there, you are aware of the atmosphere, you are aware of that intimidation at times, but a referee clearly should deal with what's in front of him at the time.
Should.
Yes, and it may well play in his mind, but I think the referee, the Brighton game was strong, mentally strong as well, and didn't bow into it. So good for him.
Yeah. Have you ever sort of noticed that situation? For example, I don't know, in a corner situation, Stuart, can you think of a situation where you might...
well, I always say in commentary, when the referee gives a corner, he's not quite sure, and it's then probably the wrong decision. As soon as the ball comes into the box, he gives a foul against one of the defenders, so that against one of the attackers, so that's an easy decision. Gives a free kick, no goal. And you would agree with that.
Well, let me just say, look, if you've given a corner kick, and in hindsight you're thinking, actually, that might have been a mistake there. Can't be looked at VAR, of course, because it's not one of the four principles. But you're thinking of that.
So you're looking for a foul at that point.
Then your tolerance level could be lowered.
I think you said it right. He's looking for a foul.
Your tolerance level could be lowered.
He's looking for a foul.
No, in the area, and in fact, all corner kicks, there is some pulling and shoving, pushing and shoving.
But you're heightened.
But you're only looking at one side of it.
Exactly.
And you give a defensive free kick because you do not want a goal being scored from a corner kick that shouldn't have been given.
There we have it. Controversy, as always, on a Monday with Ref Watch. We'll see you soon.